Hi, everyone. This is Hannah, bringing you this week's tech tip from Strucsoft Solutions Great Tech Group. Today's title is Strucsoft Improvements for Curved Walls, which is a remake of an old tech tip. Why? Because we have some news. If you're using anything after build 9253 or the next release that is coming soon, which I'm showing you a sneak peek of today, and you use curved walls, this tech tip is for you. So we get this question a lot. Are we able to frame curved walls in Strucsoft? The answer is yes, but there are some limitations and recommendations. Let's start over here with our first recommendation. And this is honestly the best recommendation that we always give, is to break up the curve into straight lines. Although, yes, we can frame curved walls, but there are some limitations. So the best way to avoid any limitations in the software is to actually break up the wall into multiple straight walls, just like I have over here. One option is to create a Revit polygon. Let's go ahead and do that. If you go to wall, you can use either one of these two. I'll use this one. You set how many sides you want to create. I'm going to make a lot of sides. And you just create your polygon. You manipulate it to what you need. So basically, you're making a fake curve. So this is one technique. The other technique would be to trace broken up lines. You can bring some lines from another software like AutoCAD, or you can break up some lines using Revit lines, just like I have over here. And then if you go to walls, you can trace them using the pick lines command, just like this. Now, if we take a look at these in 3D, let's frame these two walls. I'll make a mass selection like this. Go to my Strucsoft tab. I'm going to switch to the wall module. I'll go to create. I'm going to pick a default light gauge template. I'll set it as active. I'm going to hit close, and then I'm going to click create. While this is generating, I just want to mention that curves are supported in light gauge steel only, and they're currently not supported for wood. You can see here that we've created multiple multiple panels. If I hit OK, and if I zoom in, this is the result that you can expect over here and over here. You'll notice that the tracks are straight lines and they're cut up based on the walls that you have pre-created for the top and for the bottom. This is the best technique that we recommend, but let's move on to framing actual curved walls. The other method would be to frame a curved wall. This means that you would have to draw a curved wall using Revit. So you would go here, go to wall, and use any one of these tools over here to create the curve of your choice. If you want to create framing for a curved wall, just make sure that the angle of the curve is 180 or less. So if I go to the 3D view and go to create, close and create, and if I say OK, you'll notice that you're able to create this panel, this curved panel. And if I try to make this angle a little bit more, if I stretch it a little bit, and I try to regenerate, you'll notice that we do have a limitation. You won't be able to frame a wall that is larger than that angle that we mentioned. So that's one limitation. But if I were to frame any one of these curved walls over here, I have created different diameters just for variety. And this here we have a straight wall. If I select all of these walls and create a panel, if I create 3 panels and hit OK, this is the result that you can expect. If I zoom in here and select the upper track or the bottom track, you'll notice that it's going to show up in one piece like this, and it's going to be curved. Just be careful when you're using this technique. Some machines are not compatible with curving light gauge steel in this fashion. So just make sure that your machine is capable of creating a curved member. Now to talk to you about some recent updates. We now support doors, windows, and openings, as well as some opening markers. In a previous tech tip that I had done a couple of years ago, we did have some limitations when it came to curves. We only supported openings, wall openings, but we did not support doors and windows. We have some good news. Now these are supported. Let me add just a third element here because we support doors, windows, and openings. So I'll add one here to this wall. If I make a mass selection and I go to create and I say OK, you'll notice that doors and windows are now supported. The software was able to frame around them for a straight wall, a curved wall, and even a curved wall with a very small diameter. The other thing to mention is that now we're able to support some markers that are available in the marker manager. I have already loaded data. That's why if I click on my marker manager, you'll see that I have already loaded all my markers. Most of these opening markers are now supported, not all of them. I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to be applying these markers in all of the windows by going to the marker, apply opening type option. And I will be using truss header symmetrical V. For the door, I'm going to go to marker, apply opening type. I'm going to use truss header matching cripples. And for the opening, I'm going to use truss header symmetrical Y. I'm going to regenerate these 3 panels, and you'll notice that these markers are now supported for curved walls as well. Now I'd like to talk to you about the limitations when it comes to curves. There are some features in the properties menu that are not compatible with curves, such as split marker, horizontals, hold downs, K-braces, and other features as well. Let's start with some split markers. To add a split marker, I'm just going to go to components and I'm going to search for the split markers. And I'm going to be placing some split markers in my 2 walls over here. I have a straight wall, a curved wall, and I have a cut up wall over here. So I'll leave this one for later. Now I'm going to try to frame those walls that I have placed the split markers in, just by going to create. So here you can see that some panels cannot be created. If I hit OK, I got a warning and it said that you cannot split an arced wall. I'm just going to say OK and close the warning and the error that I got. Here you can see that the split marker does work for a straight wall, but it's not compatible with a curved wall. Now we're going to run a test for these 3 types of walls over here. This one has been split, so this is a curve that has been split into straight walls. This is a curve, and this is a straight wall. I have pre-created a template for today's tech tip that includes some features, and we're going to test these 3 options over here. So I'm going to make a mass selection, and now I can use Quick Create. You'll notice that I got this warning. I'm just going to close the warnings and just show you what happened here. So I was able to frame the straight wall that has some hold downs, some horizontals, and some holes. Over here, you can see the hole. But I was not able to frame this curved wall with that option. However, if I go back here and go to create and just use the light gauge out of the box template, I am able to create a curved wall. But if I go to properties, and now I'm going to use properties preview, that is available in build 9253 and upcoming builds. And if I go to view and try to add a few features from the properties menu, most of them are not supported. The ones that are supported are stud spacing and opening framing. So you can add in your opening framing the opening types you want to use for your curved walls. You can also change the stud spacing, but there are other features that are not compatible. Let's run a quick test for horizontals. Let's say I want to start from E1 to all the way to E2. I'll make the structural center line. I'll use this member over here. Let's make one and add it, and let's say okay. You'll notice that the software was not able to create horizontals. It didn't give me an error, but it didn't give me the correct result. That's why I wanted to mention that results will vary depending on the tool that you're using. Sometimes you may get an error, sometimes you may not, and sometimes you may not be able to create a panel. The best technique to use when you want a curved wall that has the full options that the software can provide is to split up this wall into multiple straight walls, or to split up the curve into multiple straight walls. And this way you can guarantee the result that you are looking for. That's it for today. This concludes this week's tech tip. I hope you found it useful, and we'll see you next week.